Hollywood has tried time and time again to make video game movies a thing. It makes sense. They often have already established themselves as a franchise and have that built-in fan base to help drive box office numbers. There's of course a big problem with them though. They're almost always terrible. This so-called video game movie curse is often traced back to one movie, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's this reason why the news that Nintendo teaming up with Illumination, i.e. the Despicable Me studio, for an animated Mario film is met with a little bit of concern. It then begs the question though, what can Nintendo and Illumination do to help ensure that this new Mario film is a critical success? I'm going to try and break down some simple ideas and concepts that can hopefully build a strong foundation for a successful Mario film, and then hand it over to you to discuss your own thoughts and ideas.
Let's go!
Ever since he entered the video game landscape, and especially after Super Mario Bros. On the NES, Mario has served as a sort of benchmark of video game platformers. He set the standard for 2D and continued to push what that genre meant, and was a trailblazer for the 3D platformer. Even as the era of 3D platformers dominating the market has waned, Mario's star always seems to shine just as bright, title after title. As great as all these games are, however, it's never really about the story. When you boil it down, Mario games have always really been just a damsel in distress trope, over and over again. The simplistic story is by design. Nintendo has generally maintained their game design philosophy since the beginning. Make a game fun to play first, and build a story around it second. This strategy generally works well for video games, but not so much for movies. This is the big roadblock to a Mario movie's success, building a strong story from where there often isn't one. So, since we really don't have much of an actual story, at least in the mainline titles, where do we start? The first place I looked was at the basic concepts outlined in the book The Art of Dramatic Writing by... Lajos Egri. It was first published in 1942, and mostly written from the perspective of writing a play, but the ideas here can just as easily be used for any piece of writing. He starts out looking at the notion of premise, or in other words theme, and how that is often the first thing that should be thought of, and is the driving force of a piece of writing. He provides examples of several classic plays such as Romeo and Juliet, where two lovers from rival families who can't be together in life through their families feuding are forced to only be together in death. He concludes that this premise is, great love defies even death. If we look at it that way, the Mario games are about an Italian plumber who overcomes great obstacles to save a princess from a fire-breathing turtle monster? Yeah, it sounds pretty weird, but if you stop and think about the catalog of Mario games over the years, he's held nearly every profession imaginable. From being a carpenter, to a plumber, to a sports star, to even a doctor, he can really be personified as the everyman. I think that's why a good premise to go with would be something like, great heroes can come in many shapes and sizes, and maybe from the most unlikely of places. I think this is a good perspective to look at the whole story, especially since it can be used on a wide variety of characters. While a solo adventure makes sense for a video game, it's a bit tougher for a movie to accomplish that. A party of would-be heroes allows us to explore this theme more in different ways, and also helps challenge our protagonist Mario in ways aside from the adventure itself. Characters like Luigi, Yoshi, and Donkey Kong can all play a part, and they are also important to Mario's history in various ways. Luigi has been the player too for the longest time, and he's even had a chance to star in his own games like Luigi's Mansion. Yoshi is Mario's faithful companion, and well, he's just so damn cute. Donkey Kong is Mario's original big bad, and would be a way to explore that part of his history, while maybe adding a sense of rivalry between the two. All in all, while there are plenty of other characters to choose from, these three I think are the best fit for Mario's first adventure on film. So while we've talked a bit about theme and characters, what's the plot going to look like? I think it's safe to say that we can assume that Mario saving Peach from Bowser is the driving force of the story, and while that's fairly simplistic, I think it works fine here. The meat and potatoes of this movie will be with the adventure itself, overcoming the tough obstacles both physically and mentally to succeed. While the plot itself can be fairly simple, it offers up time to explore the tropes typical adventure movies have, such as the damsel in distress with Peach, and also explore what Bowser really is like. Bowser has always been portrayed as an extremely tough character, yet seems to have a soft spot for Peach, and only seems to want her affection, or at least the cake, or maybe both. Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario himself, said that Peach doesn't see her as being protected by Mario. I could see it as almost a Princess Leia in the Death Star scenario. We as an audience think really early on that Leia will be this princess that needs to be saved, but it becomes clear pretty quickly that her sharp wit and strength of will was crucial to not only protecting the rebellion, but also helping herself and the others escape the Death Star. It obviously shouldn't play out beat for beat like this, but I think it's a strong example of how you can play around with tropes and turn it into something different. This should overall be a very light and fun film, and playing around with these tropes of the genre is a good way to add some humor, as well as offer some more unique character moments. There's loads more material that could be explored in a Mario movie, and this only really scratches the surface of what a Mario movie would ultimately look like. I do think, though, that it offers up some good initial thoughts on how to build this movie from the ground up by using the deeply loved characters and world that the game's created. If you would like to see a follow-up to this video going into greater detail on the plot of the film, and how it would be structured, let me know in the comments below. I would also like to hear your thoughts and ideas on what themes or angle they should take with this movie, and what you would want to get out of it. I do want to thank you for watching, and to like and subscribe to Wundervideo to see more videos about films, video games, or just whatever else pops into my head. See ya!